Brad Waller coming to you from my car once again. I think the subject today, main subject I want to talk about, is customer service. Yesterday I had the displeasure of experiencing horrible customer service. Got my cell phone from T-Mobile, had it about a year. Now, T-Mobile has a plan. They call it your data stash. Their big advertisement was, it's your data, you paid for it, you get to keep it. Well, one of the 6 phones on our plan went over the 6 gigabytes of data in the month, and we got an alert saying, your phone has hit the limit and you're going to be at 2G speeds for the rest of the month, which is only 2 days. But what confused me was we should have that overage, and there's just no way that even over the year we used up that 20 gigabytes worth. And I went and I looked at my statement, and last month, that phone used 6.06 gigabytes. It's like, okay, so maybe it's been using it up slowly. Month before, 4.7 gigabytes. Month before that, 5.2 gigabytes. It's like, all right, something's wrong. Sorry. So I had to call customer service, and this was actually, funny enough, minutes after getting off the phone with customer service over a question. So that was just pure-eyed questions, and they answered the questions and they were good, so that wasn't a problem. But I literally hung up the phone with them when I got the text message about the overage. So I finally, I got the first person. They looked at it, I had to explain it to them. They said, well, no, it says here that you don't have any extra, and that's why you're hitting it. I said, well, but I've got the data stash, and when I'm looking at my account online, every line has minutes in the data stash, or gigabytes in the data stash, except for this one, which doesn't show me anything. So he says, oh, well, that's kind of weird. Let me look into this. And he went away for a while. I was on hold for a while. And then he came back and says, okay, well, the phone is provisioned for it, but I'm not seeing anything there. So let me look into it a little bit further. Went on hold. He came back, says, I can't do anything. I need to transfer you to somebody else. Put me on hold. Disconnected. So I called back, explained what was happening to the new person that got me. And, she seemed to see, his notes. So it's like, okay, everything's good. And then she spent the next 20 minutes probably explaining to me that we don't count megabytes, we only count gigabytes. And you've used up your gigabytes and you only have megabytes left. And therefore, because you're on megabytes, you're on the slow speed. So number one, she had no idea. She couldn't talk tech, she couldn't talk customers, she couldn't talk anything. But number two, I looked at my agreement. My agreement says we round up to the nearest megabyte and roll over to the next month. So if that's true, I should have, I said I'd do the math, and we've got pedestrian waving me on, even though she had the right of way. I said, look, yes, last month was 6.06, but the month before was this, the month before was that. I should have, I think it works out, 1.8 something gigabytes, or maybe it was 2 I don't know, whatever it was. I said, this is how much I should have left. I do the math. I said, I got bonus this month, used a tiny bit this month. So where is my data? You promised me. It's my data. I paid for it. Where's my data? Well, you don't have any data. You don't have any left. It's like, no, I do. The math says I should have the data. It's not showing up. And you're telling me I've got none. That's the problem. Of course, right. I understand. You don't have any data. It's like, I know what you're saying. And so finally, after God, I don't know how long, I said, can you put me on with a supervisor? And she says, okay, let me put you on hold and I'll get a supervisor. Disconnected. Now this is an hour into the phone call now. I've been calling on this one issue for a full hour. And this is something that any customer service person should have been able to look at and go, I don't know what's going on. Let me just fix it for you now. I'll set up a trouble ticket and we'll investigate it and we'll get it taken care of. So that's what I would do. If it was my company and somebody's complaining about something that's literally a couple bucks, my first thing would have been, looks funny, I don't know what it is. Let me just bump you up to 10 gigabytes for the month, considering there's 2 days left in the month. And then I'll have my tech team looking to see what's going on. But first guy, was just trying to do a thorough job, and the second woman just was horrible. So I got the third one and said, look, I'm not mad at you, but I've been on the phone for an hour. I need a supervisor. It's like, well, can you explain the problem to me so I can at least have it? So I said, okay, fine, I'll explain it to you, but I don't want you to try and do it because that'll put me another half hour into this phone call. Finally, after about 5 or 10 minutes with her, I got on with a supervisor. The supervisor looked at it, agreed that there was an issue, said, okay, yeah, the data stash isn't showing up. I don't know why. I see you should have 18.09 gigabytes data stash to use on this account, but it's not showing up. So they tried setting a flag and doing something. That didn't work. They tried doing something else, and that actually worked. And the pedestrians walk as soon as I enter the intersection. I don't understand that. I'm halfway through the intersection. They just said, oh, let me just start walking. And I would be illegally blocking the intersection if I stopped for them. So it's very confusing what you do when a pedestrian steps out in front of you like that. So it took about an hour 45 for the whole problem to get resolved. And it was just a real pain. It was not fun. Gave me a really bad taste for T-Mobile. Not really happy with them at the moment. I may stick with them, but yeah, geez. What could have been taken care of so easily was just royally screwed up. Entering my parking garage, so who knows what's going to happen to lighting. By a bad customer service experience. It would have been an okay experience if like the first guy had been able to take care of it, because it's like, well, hey, it was a half hour, but I got it done. But he could have done it in 5 minutes for me. He could have used up 5 minutes of my time by just saying, let me fix your account for now, and then I'll take care of it in the background. Because I field customer service calls, and I never have them hold on while I'm investigating the problem. If there's a problem, I'll sit there and go, fine, let me get all your information, I'll investigate it, and I'll get back to you, instead of having them sit on hold for 20 minutes while I'm going back and forth with my tech guys and having them figure stuff out. So, moral of the story, keep your customers happy. Go the extra mile. Do whatever it takes to make them happy. They say the customer is always right. The customer isn't always right. Sometimes the customer is wrong, but you have to at least make them feel decent. You can't make them feel like they are wrong. And that's kind of what this T-Mobile person did to me. She kept on trying to show me how I was wrong, and I wasn't. But even if I was wrong, she could have said, sorry for the misunderstanding, let me give you an extra gigabyte of data. Cost them nothing. Said, okay, let me give you an extra gigabyte of data just for your trouble. They could have done that. And at the end of the call, they said, well, I actually said, this has been an hour 45 for me. What can you do for my trouble? Well, what would you like? So I said, well, sorry about that. I got cut off. I had a phone call. My phone rang while I was recording the video. So what I was saying was, at the end of the phone call, they said, what do you want? And so I said, a free month. And they said, well, I can't do that, but I can give you $50 bill credit. It's like, all right, I'll take that. I probably could have held out for more, but figured at the end, that was enough. So, Brad Waller, signing off.